morning and welcome to Joyful Heart Kitchen. Today is New Year's Day and I thought, why not start the new year with canning? So I have all my ingredients ready, and what I'm canning today is spaghetti sauce or Italian gravy, whatever you want to call it. I got everything ready here. I'm kind of piggybacking on She's in Her Apron with Kim. I kind of tweaked a little bit of stuff here because I've cooked her spaghetti sauce. We've tried it and our family loves it so much that I'm like, okay, this is a keeper. So I'm like, how can I fix this or do this in a canning recipe? Because in her recipe, I will show you here, don't mind that, it's from washing this stuff. There you go, now you can see it. It's got pork chops in there. Which eventually when it cooks down, it kind of shreds up anyway. But I'm like, well, instead of pork chops, I can do ground pork. And then Italian sausage. She uses actually the sausage links of Italian sausage. So instead of that, I'm going to use ground Italian sausage for canning. But pretty much the rest of it's going to be in there. Just the pork chops itself is not going to be in there. Just ground pork. And I'm going to prepare and cook it the way somewhat she had. Just a few things differently. And with spaghetti sauce with meat, you have to process in the pressure canner because it does have meat for 70 minutes according to your altitude of how many pounds in your area. So I figured you guys can come along with me today and canning this new year in 2021. So I hope you guys can enjoy it. All right, we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna get my sausage into this big 22 quart pan. This is the purpose why I bought this pan, to fit my spaghetti sauce in here, because we got a lot here. We got 12 pounds of crushed tomatoes here, so that should be plenty. Plus to thicken it up with the paste. You don't want a watery spaghetti sauce. Okay, so in a minute here we will start the sausages and the onions, and then I'll show you. And then I got my pressure canner ready. All right, let's get canning. All right, so I got the sausages in there in the pan, and we're gonna turn this on. We're gonna fry this up. I got the regular pork and then the Italian one. We're gonna break it up and fry it up. Now, Kim, and She's in Her Apron, you could probably use the pork chops, because eventually what's gonna happen is the pork chop itself will break down and shred up in the sauce, which is really good. But as for the Italian sausage, the actual sausage, she cuts it up in coins and puts it in her sauce. And I figured, why not use the ground Italian sausage? Now she uses the hot Italian sausage because that's what they like. And she says the sauce, it gives the sauce flavor. But we have in our home a few people, we have acid reflux. So that wouldn't work out too well with us. Plus I have a 9-year-old, so, and he's not a big fan of spicy. So if you want to use a hot Italian sausage, you can do that too. And her sauce is really meaty. She doesn't stop there. She actually puts meatballs in it too. So you could probably throw in like a pound of ground beef if you want like beef in it. Alright, so I'm going to finish browning this up and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so the pork is all, there's a little bit of pink, not too much. I got a half an onion in here, chopped up. That's just pretty much what I had left. And a big heaping tablespoon of minced garlic is what I had over here. Because it just makes life easier. I'm just going to stir this up. Get this browned up a little bit. There's still a little bit of pink in the sausage, not too much. So I figured I'd go ahead and add the onions and the garlic. And it smells really good in here. Okay, I'm going to let this continue browning up and let the onions soften up, and I will be back. Okay, so the onions are soft. You can see the juice from the pork there. So we're going to go ahead and add the, they're both 6 pounds each, 12 pounds altogether of the crushed tomatoes. And this is what crushed tomatoes looks like if anyone's interested. It's a little bit of thickness of the tomato. There's a little bit of water in here. I think this one's got a little bit more. It is watery, that's why we got the tomato paste. Because you want your sauce to stick to the noodle. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in here. And I'll show you the next steps, what I do. Okay, so I added both cans of crushed tomatoes and you can hear it popping. That's one thing I hate about sauce. It pops. So stir this all together. Get that meat in there. I clean those cans. It's all in there. We're gonna stir this up, and then we're gonna add some diced tomatoes in here. I just got regular diced tomatoes. I don't have the small petite tomatoes, which probably would do better in this recipe. The small petite tomatoes. Alright, I'm gonna get the diced tomatoes now. I'm gonna put both these cans in here. Alright, so I stirred this up. I'm just gonna let it simmer a little bit. I had the 2 diced tomatoes. Then I went ahead and filled it with water, both cans, and dumped it in there. Because her recipe calls for water. So I did that. I'm just going to let this simmer a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and add the spices and go from there about the tomato paste. I don't know if I'm going to add all these in there. We'll see. Maybe 4. I'm thinking 4 in here. Alright, I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, it's simmering. So it's been simmering for a little bit. So I'm going to stir this up. And then I'm gonna start adding the spices in here, or herbs. Actually, they're just herbs. So, all right, we're gonna add some herbs in here. Just stick this in here. I don't think I will add the garlic powder just yet because we did put minced garlic in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and I got basil. There, you guys can see that. I don't know if it's open. Yeah, it's open. Alright, put some basil in here. Measuring, I don't do. I just pretty much pour it in. If you're hearing that noise, it's because I'm hitting my overhead thing. Alright. Basil. Now we're going to put some Italian seasoning in here. Kind of hard to put this in here with that overhead thing. And then the parsley. Now this parsley actually came from our herb garden. I had an herb garden last summer. I will definitely do that again. And I just dehydrated the parsley in my dehydrator. I even grew some cilantro and dehydrated cilantro. All right. Now some oregano. It's starting to bubble. That's one thing about sauce, it does bubble. And watch yourself, it will pop. Woo, and it will burn you. So you kind of got to stir it all the time, or else it'll do that. And when sauce is hot, it will burn. And then I'm gonna add some sugar in here because tomato itself is very acidic. So I'm gonna add some sugar in here to sweeten it up a little bit. And I like my spaghetti sauce a little sweet. So not too sweet, just a little sweetness. All right, I'm gonna put the lid on this, let that simmer. And then I'm gonna get some sugar. All right, I got my sugar, and this is a 1/4 cup. So we're gonna put some sugar in here. Put that in there for now. This just pops right off, just like that. Yikes. Okay, I'm just gonna add, oh, I don't know, probably 3/4 sugar. 1, 2, 3. There. Let's stir this up. Okay, I think I'm just gonna let this simmer. I think when you let sauce simmer soups and stews, it just tastes much better. So I'm gonna let this simmer for a few minutes. Get all the flavors in there. Then I'll come back and taste it. We haven't even added the tomato paste yet. Okay. Simmer. And then I'll taste it. Okay, so I've tasted the spaghetti sauce. It's got enough sweetness, but it did need more seasoning, or spices, I should say. So I added some more minced garlic, dehydrated onion, and it's spat in here, and some herbs. So I went ahead and did that. Now for some more flavoring, recently, not long ago, I canned up some canned mushrooms, and I have this stock from the mushrooms, and I put the French onion powder stuff in these jars, so I call it French onion mushroom stock. So I'm gonna go ahead and add, this is just a pint, this is like a jelly jar, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the sauce. I think it will give it more flavor, and it'll just make it taste really good, and a little hint of mushroom in it. All right, and then let this simmer a little bit, and then I'll come back and taste it. Okay, it's been simmering for a while. I went ahead and just added the 4 tomato paste. I've added more basil, and after adding the tomato paste, it kind of cut back on the sweetness a little bit, so I added just 1/4 cup of sugar to the sauce. Now I'm gonna check it, because I'm pretty sure it's done. I'm doing it away from me so it doesn't pop in my face, because it is popping. That's one thing about sauce, it pops. So I'm gonna put this in the sink, give this a quick stir. I'm debating if I should go ahead and add the 2 more tomato paste. I don't know. I don't want it too thick. Still got a little bit of water to it. I think I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. I think this spices and herbs in here is enough. So it's about 1 o'clock, and I started this morning, and it's 1 o'clock. That's one thing about spaghetti sauce, it pretty much takes all your day to make. I think it's fine with the thickness. I don't want it too thick. So I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna let this simmer a little bit and let everybody grab their lunch. And then after they get done, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna can this up. So I'll see you back here, and I'm gonna have everything ready for the canning. So I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, well, that is nice and hot. I've got my canner nice and hot with a little bit of vinegar in it, so my jars are not white powdery residue on the jars. If you forget that, no big deal. Just wash your jars after they've cooled down the next day. But everything's ready. I got my jars in hot water, got that in hot water. So I'm just gonna show you like maybe 1 or 2 jars of how to can this up. So I'm just gonna grab, this is just, I'm doing this because the sauce is hot and you don't want thermal shock in your jars. So that's why I'm doing this. Got my funnel here. I'm gonna get some of this nice spaghetti sauce here and fill it with 1-inch headspace. It's nice to have spaghetti sauce with meat in it so you don't have to cook meat for your sauce. That's already pretty much there. That's what I like about it. Alright, that's one thing I like about this. Put it on there. And then, let's see where this is. I still got quite a bit of room here. So we still got a ways to go. Alright, I'm just gonna keep filling this jar. That might just do it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna get my debubbler right here. Put this here for now. Oh, I think I got too much. Definitely too much. So I need to take some of this out. Yeah, I need to take some of that out. Grab a spoon. Got my spoon. Just take some of this out because I got way too much in here. Way too much. It's kind of hard to can and film at the same time. I'll just set this right there. I mean, it's kind of liquid, so you really don't need the debubble, I don't think, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This debubbling is important. Now I'm gonna measure and make sure I got 1 inch. That's about right, I would say. That's about 1 inch. Usually right here is 1 inch headspace. Need to get a rag here. Just use some of this. I got make sure the rims are clean. You don't, that way it seals properly. And when you're canning hot stuff, everything has to be hot. The jars, the lids have to be, you don't want thermal shock. Okay, I think I got all the gunk off. guys. Put that on. Make sure it's on. There. Grab one of my rings. Make sure it's fingertip tight. Just like that. You don't want it too tight because what's going to happen? The lid will dome up. And it's important to just only fingertip tight because there's air that needs to escape. That's why you can't crank it tight. And if you crank it tight, this will be domed. And then the bottom of your jar will be gone. And then you're going to have a mess. So just only fingertip tight. Alright, I'm going to finish up canning here. And I'll let you know how many jars I got from 12 pounds of crushed tomatoes. Good morning, YouTube. So it's the next day after New Year's Day, the day after New Year's Day. Here's the 7 quarts that I have in my canner. Now you can see that there's still a bubble right here. That means that these 3, actually 4, did not seal. But these 3 did seal because they're flat. There's no bubble. Bubble here, flat here. That's how you know they're sealed. So we had some siphoning. And I mean, that's expected because there was sugar in it. Anything with sugar is going to siphon. There is going to be some kind of siphoning, even when you're canning meat. But at least it didn't lose all of it, like the whole product. So I'll show you the canner. See that? There's some siphoning. And I'm just gonna clean all this out, put some clean water in there, and I'm going to put some new lids on this. That's my furnace that just kicked on. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm going to clean these off, put new lids on them, clean the lids, and put these back in the canner with these right here. So altogether I have 10. I got 10 quarts out of 12 pounds of spaghetti sauce, the crushed tomatoes. So I just took these out of the refrigerator and want to let the chill come off of these jars so they're not too cold. Give them somewhat at room temperature. So I'm going to be waiting a little bit, and then I'm going to put these and these, the ones that didn't seal, back into the canner and start all over again. So I'm just going to go ahead and end the video here and let you guys go, and Happy New Year, and hopefully 2021 will be better than 2020. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.